Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our English learning series. Today, we are going to talk about one of the most iconic and talented people in the history of cinema, Charlie Chaplin. Have you ever seen a man with a small black hat, a funny toothbrush mustache, baggy trousers, and large shoes, walking in a silly, waddling way? That is Charlie Chaplin. And even though he rarely spoke in his films, he made hundreds of millions of people around the world burst into laughter and sometimes even cry. So, let's begin his extraordinary life story. I hope you will not only improve your English today, but also feel inspired by his life. Charles Spencer Chaplin was born on April 16, 1889, in Walworth, London, England. His parents were both music hall performers. That means they were entertainers who sang and acted on stage. But Charlie's childhood was not happy at all. His father, Charles Chaplin Sr., was an alcoholic and left the family very early. His mother, Hannah Chaplin, worked very hard to take care of Charlie and his older half-brother, Sidney. But sadly, Hannah's health became very poor. She suffered from mental illness and was sometimes sent to psychiatric hospitals. When Charlie was just a child, there were times when he and his brother had no food, no warm home, and sometimes they even lived on the streets. They were sent to a workhouse, a place for very poor people, more than once. But in all of this poverty and suffering, young Charlie had a gift. He could make people smile, and he never gave up. Charlie started performing on stage when he was only 5 years old. He quickly showed amazing talent for comedy, dancing, and mime, which means acting without words, using only body and facial expressions. As a teenager, he joined a famous comedy group called Fred Carnot's Company. This group traveled to the United States in 1910. It was on one of these tours that a movie director named Max Sennett noticed Charlie's incredible talent and signed him to work in silent films. In 1914, Charlie made his very first film. And very quickly, within just a few months, he created one of the most famous characters in film history, the Tramp. The Tramp was a poor but dignified man, someone who was always struggling, but never lost his sense of humor or his kind heart. People all over the world loved this character because they saw themselves in him, struggling, falling down, but always getting back up. Over the years, Charlie Chaplin made many unforgettable films. Let me tell you about a few of them. The Kid, 1921. This was Chaplin's first full-length film. In it, he plays a tramp who finds an abandoned baby on the street and raises the child as his own. It is both funny and deeply moving. When this film was released, audiences actually cried in the cinemas. The Gold Rush, 1925. In this film, the tramp is searching for gold in Alaska. One of the most famous scenes is when he is so hungry that he actually cooks and eats his own shoe. It is incredibly funny, yet also shows the sad reality of poverty. Modern Times, 1936. This film is a criticism of industrialization, the way factories and machines were turning human beings into robots. Charlie plays a factory worker who struggles to keep up with a fast-moving machine. It is a timeless message that is still relevant today. The Great Dictator, 1940. This was Chaplin's first film with spoken dialogue. He played a character who mocked Adolf Hitler, the dictator of Nazi Germany. This was an incredibly brave thing to do at that time. The final speech in this film is considered one of the most powerful speeches in cinema history. In it, he called for humanity, kindness, and peace. Charlie Chaplin was not only a great artist, he was also a complex human being. He was married 4 times and had 11 children. His personal life was often controversial and troubled. During the Cold War era in America, Chaplin was suspected of having communist beliefs. The American government, especially FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover, watched him closely for many years. In 1952, while Chaplin was traveling to England, the U.S. government revoked his re-entry permit, meaning he was not allowed to return to America. This was a great blow for Chaplin, as he had lived in America for over 40 years. He settled in Switzerland with his wife Una and their children, and he never returned to the United States for 20 long years. But even in this exile, Chaplin continued to work and create. He never stopped making art. In 1972, Charlie Chaplin was finally invited back to the United States to receive an honorary Academy Award, the highest honor in film. When he appeared on stage, the audience gave him a 12-minute standing ovation. It was one of the longest ovations in Oscar history. The whole world remembered what he had given them: laughter, hope, and love. Charlie Chaplin was also a man of many talents. He was not just an actor. He directed his own films, wrote the scripts, composed the music, and even produced them. He was a one-man creative genius. On December 25, 1977, Christmas morning, Charlie Chaplin passed away peacefully in his sleep in Switzerland. He was 88 years old. but his films are still watched today. His message, that a poor, ordinary person can still have dignity, love, and a good heart, speaks to people of every country, every language, and every generation. So, what can we learn from the life of Charlie Chaplin? We learn that difficult circumstances do not have to define us. Charlie grew up with nothing, no money, no stable family, no comfort. But he had talent and determination, and he used them to change the entire world of art. We also learn that art can be a powerful tool. Through comedy, Chaplin spoke about poverty, injustice, and the importance of human kindness, without saying a single word for most of his career. And finally, we learn that it is okay to fall down. The tramp always fell, always got hurt, always failed, but he always got back up with a smile. I hope today's script has helped you practice your English and also touched your heart a little. Charlie Chaplin once said, "A day without laughter is a day wasted." So smile, keep learning, and keep going forward.